All right, for the last lesson of the week, we're going to start with a little bit of review, and then we're going to focus on those things that we learned earlier. Okay, so first let's just do a few of these problems as a review. So I might not do all of them, but just a couple here to remind you. So if I wanted to take the decimal 2.9 times 6.6, I really think of that as just like 29 times 66. And so you start with the 6 right here, and you do 6 times 9. 6 times 9 is 54. Keep the 4, carry the 5. Then take that 6 times the 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. There's nowhere for me to carry the 1, so I just bring it down, 17. I'm done with that 5. Now I'm going to start with the other 6, the 6 in the tens place. And so since I'm starting in the second spot, I do need to add my placeholder of 0 here. Then I do 6 times 9, again is 54, so carry a new 5. Then 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17 again. And then add those two. So 4 plus 0 is 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, carry the 1, 7, 8, 9, and then 1. And then remember, to place the decimal, there's 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal in our original. And so there's going to be 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal in our answer. So you start from the right side, count over 2. So our answer should be 19.14. All right. Now 2.9 is really close to 3, and 3 times 6 is 18. So that tells me my answer is got to be pretty accurate. I feel good about 14. All right, how about 9.4 times 3.9? So think of it as 94 times 39, and then we will add in the decimal at the end. So again, you start with the 9, and 9 times 4 is 36, so carry the 3. And then 9 times 9 is 81, plus 3 is 84. And there's nowhere to carry the 8, so that comes down with the 4 as well. Then we are done with the 9. We took 9 times everything. So now start with the 3. This 3 up here that I carried is already been used. So since I'm starting in the tens place, you add that 0. Then you do 3 times 4 is 12. Keep the 2, carry the 1. Then 3 times 9 is 27, plus 1 is 28. So then you keep the 8. You could carry the 2, but there's nowhere to put it. So you put it down here. So you just write 28 down here. Then you add. 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then again, we have 1, 2 numbers. If you look at our original problem, we have 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal. So starting from the back, right side, count in 2 places, and you should get 36.66. If you still need extra practice with multiplying decimals, let's get together and do a few together. I want to review a few fraction operations. So remember for adding and subtracting, which would be like numbers 1 and 5, for adding and subtracting, you must have a common denominator. So for adding and subtracting, we need a common denominator. So for number 1, what's the common denominator between 5 and 9? So if I count by 5s, and I think out of those numbers, 5, 10, 15, 20, which number would be divisible by 9? And you're actually going to get all the way to 45. And so since 9 times 5 is 45, we can use that as our common denominator. So I'm going to change 3/5 plus 2/9, and I want to rewrite this as 40/5. So 3/5 into something over 45. So since 9 times 5 is 45, then you do 3 times 9 as well. So that would be 27 over 45. And then to change 2 ninths into 45, 9 times 5 is 45, so 2 times 5 is 10. So 10 over 45. Now they have a common denominator, so you can add 37 plus 10 is 27 plus 10 is 37 over 45. Now 45 is divisible by 9 and 5, and I think that's it. And 37, you cannot divide 37 by 9 or 5, so I don't think that you can simplify this. It is just going to have to stay 37 over 45. So for adding and subtracting, you do have to have that common denominator. Let's do the subtracting one too. So 2/3 and 1/4. So if you count by threes, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, the first number you come by that's divisible by 4 is 12, because 4, 8, 12, they both have 12 in common. And 3 times 4 is 12, so we know we can use it as a common denominator. So 2/3 minus 1/4 is really going to be 3 times 4 is 12, so 4 times 4, or 2 times 4 is 8. So 2/3 is the same thing as 8/12. And then to change 1/4 into 12ths, 4 times 3, so then 1 times 3 is 3. So 8/12 minus 3/12 is 5/12. Oops, 5/12. Again, we cannot simplify that because 5 is only divisible by 5 and 1, and 12 is not divisible by 5. So 5/12 is our simplified answer. All right, how about multiplying decimals? So like 2 and 3, multiplying decimals. So multiplying decimals was no big problem. It was top times top over bottom times bottom. So multiplying decimals, you multiply across the top. So 4 times 3 is 12, and 8 times 5 is 40. Now, that one I know can be simplified because they're both divisible by 2. So 12 is 2 times 6, and 40 is 2 times 20, so I can take out a 2. Then 6 over 20 can be simplified again. So 6 over 20, they're both divisible by 2 again. So dividing by 2, or thinking of it as 6 is 2 times 3, and 20 is 2 times 10. So if you divide both by 2, your final answer would be 3/10. It doesn't simplify any further than that. So dividing fractions is similar, except for that you have to remember that, let's do number 6. It's keep, change, flip. So if you're dividing fractions, you keep the first one the same, then you change it to multiplication, and then you flip the other fraction over. Then multiplying fractions, no big problem. Top times top over bottom times bottom. So top times top is be 4 over bottom times bottom, which would be 3. Now that is improper, but it doesn't simplify any further. So you could say that's 1 1/3 as a mixed number. Otherwise, 4/3 is fine. All right, let's review our statistics. Remember that the minimum is the smallest number in the set. The maximum is the largest. The median is the middle number. Remember, you must have them listed from smallest to largest. Mode occurs the most often. Mean is the average of the set, and range is the difference between the largest and the smallest. So let's practice that. So let's rewrite these from smallest to biggest first. So if I look through here, 50 is my smallest. I'm going to cross that out and look for the next smallest is 56. Cross that one out. Next smallest, 66, and then 73, and then 79, 80, 81, then 82, and 83, 88, 100, 111, and then finally our largest is 120. Okay, so if we want to start with the mean, that's where you find the sum and then divide it by the total number of terms there are. So if you count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 numbers. So whatever we find, when we add all of these together, we're going to divide that by 13. So these numbers are rather large. We're probably going to need a calculator to add them up. So I'm going to use my calculator. So just taking like 50 plus 56, etc., adding them all up and finding the total sum. So be careful not to miss one. And 120. So it's 1,069. And then to find the average, then take 1,069 divided by 13. And it's going to be 82.23 if we just round that. Or we could say, you know, it's close to, if we rounded it to the nearest whole number, it would be rounded to 82, would be our average. Okay, mode, or if we go to median next, median is the middle number. So I have them listed in order. To find the middle, I'm going to just work from one side to the other. So one on each side, then go one on each side. Keep going to work your way to the middle, which is 81. Remember, if there's two numbers in the middle, then you add those numbers together and divide them by 2 to find the middle. The mode is the one that occurs the most often. Do I have any repeating numbers here? I do not. So there's no mode. If I would have had, say, 56 and 56, then 2 56s, or 3 of one number, then that would be the mode. The mode is the one that occurs the most often. If there is no repeating numbers, then you have no mode. The range is the maximum minus the minimum. So the maximum number is the largest, which is 120. The minimum is the smallest, which is 50. So then the maximum is 120 minus the minimum of 50 gives us our range. And 120 subtract 50, you get 12 minus 5 is 70. So 70. All right, try one more on your own then. I gave you a little smaller set, rewrite it, and then find each of these. Let me know if you still have questions on the measures of central tendency